I've always struggled with my weight.
Because you are a disgusting fat body!
But the problem isn't a shortage of applicants. The problem is a shortage of...
Well, I think the problem is there's a shortage of applicants who are in shape who want to go in. I mean, we've on patriotism for the last 10 years. Let's keep going.
Applicants able to pass the entry tests, and for many, that was on account of their weight. They created the Future Soldier Preparatory course with two strands, one helping those who failed academically and the other helping with weight loss, which...
All right, so the fat ones and the rocks. You guys remember that term, rocks being you're not that bright. I think this is a good idea because you're not going to have anybody in the Army unless you take what you can get at this point.
...have affectionately dubbed Army Fat Camp.
I've always struggled with my weight.
Alexia was desperate to join the army, but at 5 feet tall and weighing 113 kilograms at the time, she was nowhere near the maximum percentage body fat required. Then she came here.
Wow.
I really appreciate the drill sergeants like pushing me and then also like just being there, like having that support, because that's what really gets me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So like them.
I'll leave the link to the full video in the description. And this woman seems like she truly appreciates it. It's refreshing. Now, if she can maintain that when she goes to boot camp and into the Army, maintain that appreciation, that motivation, because the problem is, I'm around Fort Carson, these kids are fat. These young folks need to lose some weight.
Like, because it's hard when you don't have the support. Right. So then, like, coming here and having that, it was really nice for me.
Let's be honest about weight. Most of it's a grocery problem. You're putting too much in. You're not going to be at a PT enough to lose as much weight as you could by not eating garbage. You're going to see here, stand by, that they're going to not restrict what they eat, but give them guidance, because they can't tell them, you're fat, you can't eat that, like it used to be. Like, I remember there was a kid that was like an iron marshmallow in Paris Island. They wouldn't let him ever drink milk because he looked fat, albeit he could PT like an animal.
Parents do support me, but it's not the same way. Like, they also struggled with weight, so it's like they couldn't really help me. So it's like having people that can't help you and are pushing you, like, that was really nice for me. And if it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't be here right now, so...
I've seen some fat guys that get held back in the pork chop platoon, as we used to call it. Held back like 6 months, a long time. I was graduating boot camp, going to the Chow Hall, 3rd Battalion Chow Hall. Food recruit, I look up, it's a kid who was in my platoon. He had lost like 60 pounds. But I guess these young folks are so fat, they can't even barely pass to get into the already low standards. I think this is an outstanding idea, and I hope it works.
Let's get after it. Let's get after it.
I was more than fine coming here because I knew there were very trained professionals that would help me out properly losing weight. This is my 3rd week, 17 days. It's going very well. I should be taping out next week due to just what I've been losing weight by. I've lost probably about 25 pounds already and 4 inches on my waist.
So less than a month, he's lost 25 pounds. What does that tell you? He's been jamming lots of shit in his face he shouldn't. Everybody's stuck behind a screen, I get it, and then never PT'd because they don't have PT in high school anymore, didn't play any sports. So this is the future, definitely of the Army, to get these kids in, because you see them, they can't even do a pull-up or two where they go in. Then you get into the regular Army, and they're always on some sort of profile. So you look around, and you're like, wow, these kids are fat. I hope he does well.
Right now, like, I look like kind of skinny. When I got here, I was a little rounder.
No.
So now I'm a little flatter, which I appreciate. Little by little, I feel more fit and I can do things a little bit more athletic.
Try to do 3 sessions a day. More so circuits through the day, keeping them moving. We're going to do 1 heavy, 1 moderate, or 1 light. Keep moving, keep moving.
Now, the Army with their PFT or ACFT, what the hell it's called now, they've screwed that up so badly they had to change it. This looks like it makes sense. You got these kids PTing all day. They're young, healthy. They're going to recover quick. They're not gassing them out. They're using their head. They're not doing boots and utes runs for 10 miles, which is a good thing.
Also hurt. Every single drill sergeant is going to handle stuff in a different manner. My way of motivating them is really just going along with them, doing exercises with them, or pulling them to the side, having a little chat with them, and making sure that they have their focus on their goal, which their goal is to get out of the Future Soldier program and get over to BCT.
They were like, just don't give up on yourself. As long as you don't give up on yourself, we won't give up on you. You give us 100%, we'll give you 200%. Having somebody like constantly like motivating you, letting you know like you got this, we got your back.
Problem is all the studs, right? The kids who are already in shape, they're just not going in. They see what's going on with the current military and they're like, I'm going to pass. And I got this group, which could be outstanding. They lose the weight. Now we're going to get to the ones that are a little dense. They're not that smart. I'm not sure how you fix those, but they don't have any graduation requirements anymore for math or science or English, so maybe that's part of it in several states.
It's been really nice.
Try to stand as tall as you can.
Fort Jackson was instructed to set up the pilot in July last year. In the first 6 months, it had been so successful that it created a 2nd battalion, and the Army has now launched another course in Georgia. It was Lieutenant Colonel Hayes and his team who were tasked with creating the first one.
It's been incredibly overwhelmingly so, I think, at times. It was intimidating. I think part of it was because it was way outside a lot of our comfort zone going in.
I heard this statement, I'm thinking, what's outside the comfort zone? It's like boot camp the first 3 weeks, except you're not going to roll them. I guess in the Army, you can't yell at them anymore, so I guess this is the same thing, but this is just pure PT. Sergeant's PTing them, make sure they don't stuff their face with garbage. That's it. Getting them thin enough to be able to do like 3 pull-ups.
And there was a mindset change and a disciplined learning environment evolution that we had to go through here. 100-person organization on a dime in a couple weeks to make that change is a challenge.
You ever PT or exercise with somebody who's better than you? You kind of go up to their level or run. If there's a good runner, you try to run with them, like a friend. Now you've added women who are overweight with the men. And what do you think happens? The lowest common denominator becomes the standard. That's why I don't like these co-ed or whatever you want to call it, boot camps on PT in particular. course running.
Realizing that nutrition and good sleeping habits are a bigger impact on someone losing body fat in a healthy way.
Exercise alone won't shed the pounds. This is a holistic program incorporating mental and spiritual aspects, sleep and nutrition.
Right now, we're going to go inside the dining facility and see defect operations.
This is interesting. You think they'd only serve them stuff that you want them to eat. That would be it. That's all they get. I don't know. They even show them the stuff they shouldn't get. And the same way, just wait for it.
Required body fat percentage ranges between 18 and 26% for men and 26 and 34% for women, dependent on height.
As you can see on the defect operations, you have the food labeled in a green, amber, red status. Green being the healthiest and red being towards the left in your not so healthy options. Per Army Regulation 350-6, we cannot tell a student that they are not allowed to eat anything on the hotline. However, with proper mentorship and education, they're making those wise decisions and able to make those choices.
What does that mean? So you can't tell them what to eat. They're fat. They want to get in. You're saying, okay, you got to come here and lose weight. Why not tell them what to eat? They clearly don't know what to eat. They eat too much. That's why they're fat. It's not an exercise problem as much as it is a stuffing your face problem. But I like the idea, the mentorship. I don't know what that means. Maybe just shaming them, like, don't eat this, fatty. And what can you do here?
On their own. And the idea is to have a well-balanced meal that incorporates all those leafy greens and colorful vegetables.
Letting students make their own decisions is key. Short-term weight loss just won't.
No, none of that's key. They don't need to make their own decisions. They already messed the decision-making process up. That's why they're fat, right? They made their own decisions. They eat the wrong foods. So letting them make their own decisions seems like the worst idea ever.
Work. The U.S. Army audits weight throughout a soldier's career, and registering too heavy twice in 1 year can be grounds for permanent discharge.
Nutrition is what's going to help the systemic problem and helping them lose that body fat. So the physical training is going to come second, but where we
just limiting how much they stuff in their face. That's the bottom line, man. I mean, these kids are not malnourished. They're just eating too much. They've been sitting on their ass their entire life playing video games and behind screens. That's it, screens. Now, this program's going to work while they're there. If you don't tell them, son, you can't eat this stuff, your body doesn't work with 16 Twinkies a day in G Fuel. No good.
Get our most bang for our buck is really the nutrition aspect of the Future Soldier Prep course.
Reword, translate, or rephrase, yes.
In one of the many classrooms on site, students on the academic version of the course are hard at work. Their goal is to pass the Armed Forces qualification test. As soon as they do, they can head straight off to begin basic training.
I don't know if that's a doable thing, like if they can't pass. I guess they're close, right? You just give them some cheat codes to take the test. I'm not saying they cheat, but you teach them how to take the test. This would be tough. You got the rocks, we used to call them. Now, there's plenty of rocks, as I remember, that were in the Army. I don't know how they got in, but they would somehow or the other get in.
For those on the fitness stream, the objective is to come within 6% of the Army's required body fat for their height. In both cases, they have around 90 days in which to do it.
I think it's an amazing opportunity to meet the youth of America halfway. Us investing in them. I mean, I would argue those that don't make it through either the academic or the fitness track are going back to society better because we're investing in them in life skills.
That's cute and all. It's War College speak for our bonuses we're sending to new recruits that are fit and able to get in is very high. We can invest a little money here and it's cheaper, right?
Getting them to understand how to better take care of themselves and invest in themselves.
Right.
And help them probably build a little confidence along the way. So I was really excited because I knew at the end of the day, I was actually going to get to make the difference in a lot of people's lives. I mean, we change lives every day here.
4 students who'd initially failed to get into the Army are graduating.
Thank you. I miss you.
All right, so the program looks successful. You know, fat camp or rock camp, and like 90+% are coming out, going to boot camp. They're losing the weight. You go to boot camp, controlled intake of food. Problem's bigger, though, because when you go out around any military base today, the kids are fat. I mean, you look at people, they don't height, weight measure out, and they don't body fat measure out. I don't know what the solution is, but this is a good start because the 50 grand bonuses are getting a little pricey for the Army, and the kids that are fit, in good shape, and studs don't want to go in because they've said, well, I don't know if I need the Afghanistan type of deal in my life. If you made it this far, I want to thank you. Make sure to go to that pesky description box below. Follow me those links. Support the cause. As I've said before, been demonetized here, hateful and harmful, all those things. Thanks for your time.